Good morning, Facebook. Thank you so much for joining. Please give us 2 minutes just to get this video visible for everyone. Just good morning. Mm, Okay, all right. So, okay, good morning, Facebook. Please come on in and let me know where you're joining us from. It's the Civilized Presence. You are in the right place at the right time. Um, Jack, I can get some echo from you. I'm not sure. Do you have two
Really?
systems in front of you?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Welcome.
Okay, maybe my phone. Maybe I'll turn off the
Yes,
not
if
my
you can
phone,
do
but
that,
yeah.
that would be great. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a civilized presence. I can see people jumping on and do us a favor and just share this on your page. Invite your friends and family to be part of what we're doing. Invite your neighbors, invite your enemies. It's a great method. So come on in. We are
Absolutely.
just about to get it started. I am so excited to be here this morning, all of you. So come in. All right. So I was just trying something out. I was trying to put it on my story, but it doesn't look like Facebook is so friendly this morning. So we're just going to do this anyways. So welcome, everyone. Thank you. Yes, we're ready to go. Good. And I have the best guest in the house. So welcome. Good morning. Are you just arriving here? Thank you for making out time to be here. It is going to be a fun party this morning. I'm telling you. I don't know if you've seen the topic, but it is amazing. We are in session number 121. So if you're just joining
Wow.
us for the first time, we've been doing this from April last year, and it has been successful. I've been working with different experts from all over the world. But I want to say welcome again to the Civilized Presence. If it's your very first time, welcome. Are you on the watch party? Welcome. Are you joining us from YouTube? Welcome. Instagram? Where are you seeing this video? Welcome. Welcome, Ella. It's good to have you in the house.
Oh
Come
yeah.
on now, guys. I am so excited. Look at that. It is going to be such fun this morning. We have the best of the best, guys. I had to bring in
Wow.
my guest all the way from UK. Welcome, Bob Gray. It's great to have you. Welcome, Inga. It's great to have you. Esther, it's great to have you. Janet, it's great to have you. Sandra, it's great to have you. Christy, it's great to have you. Jessica
Wow.
from London, UK, it's great to have you. Guys, come on in and comment and just let me know where you're joining us from. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped up that you're here. Are you not excited to see
Yeah.
me? Because I'm excited to see you. I've missed you guys. I haven't been here in a little bit, but I'm excited. It's just going to be great. Yes, Ella is so happy to see you today, Adaku. Oh, good.
Hey!
Yes, thank you so much. Great
Oh.
energy in the house. So, welcome everyone. It's the Civilized Presence. If you are here for the very first time, Civilized Presence is an online TV session where lives are changed, where people discover their self, their purpose, their voice, and of course, learn social skills to thrive in the real world. So, if you want to become a change maker, let me tell you, you're in the right place. Now, some of you might be asking, because there are a lot of good people that are just jumping in. Who is she? My name is Louisa Akaiso, and I am going to be your host for today. I feel so honored that you responded to the call, to the flyer, to the post. I don't know how you got here, but guys, thank you. Because without you, this show will not go on. So I always have to take a moment to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you again. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for just standing by me and just supporting the course. So, I'm a certified master civility trainer and a leadership coach and expert with the John Maxwell team. And of course, I work confidently with leaders and professionals that place great importance in themselves and their reputation. And I believe that's going to be you this morning because you made out time to be here. Welcome, Wenger. It's good to have you in the house. I'm so excited. Welcome, John. It's good to have you. Guys, do me a favor. Come in and comment in the box below. Let me know what country, city, where are you joining us from? Give us some hearts, give us some thumbs up. Share this video on your page. Invite everyone around you. Invite people. Because if you enjoy the topic, I bet you there's so many people who would want to be part of what we're doing, who are also in your network. So don't keep me as your best kept secret. Mm-mm. I don't want to be a secret. Invite people to be part of what I'm doing. So we're here every Mondays and Fridays, usually at 8 a.m. Eastern time. But of course, in the past three sessions, you would have noticed that we shifted to 8:30 Eastern time. And that's because, of course, a little bit of changes here and there. We're in the middle of moving. And of course, I don't want to show up telling you that, you know what, I was held in traffic. That's going to be so unprofessional. So we had to adjust the time for 30 minutes until I get settled down. And I want to believe that I don't look too rushed this morning, but welcome. Now, do me a favor, grab your cup of coffee. I have mine here. If you have to get water, whatever that you have to get, because when we have a Daku in the house, it's time to learn. Okay, she's gonna be dropping some really hot nuggets. It's time to learn. That there is so much that's gonna be happening here this morning. I'm so excited about the topic of today. It's something that I'm so passionate about, and I think that is such a great, it's such a problem all over the world. So bring in your questions, your comments, and let's make this interactive. So, for the new members, the goal of this Facebook series is really to help restore civility in our society. And like I said, we've been doing this from last year, really trying to break the concept of civility into tiny, simple, and manageable bits where you will understand how easy but important it is for you to be civil. And welcome, Joanne from Nigeria. It's great to have you. And I always say that is as easy as saying please and thank you. Or even good morning, or share a compliment, just like I'm going to do right now. That Adaki, you look amazing this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome, Odul. It's great to have you in the house. I'm seeing some names that I've never seen before, but guys, I want you to know that I love you very much and thank you for making our time to be here with us. So before we continue, usually I would share a definition of civility with you, and I've chosen one today from PF Funny that's simple enough, which states that being civil means being constantly aware of others and weaving restraint, respect, and consideration into that very fabric of awareness. So, civility is a form of gracious goodness. Civility is being responsible for your actions. Apologize earnestly if you have to. Pay attention to the next person, okay? Sometimes we're just so much in a hurry. And welcome, Anna. It's good to have you here, my friend. It's so good to have you. Thank you for making out time to be here. So, guys, if you're saying, Louisa, that's a lot, I wanted to take something away from this session, and that is that civility, it's focused on positive people's treatment. Now, I'm going to ask a quick question. How many of you have ever said hello to your neighbors? Mhm. I mean, I know if you were outside, you probably would have thrown a stone at me. Yes. You don't like talking to your neighbors. Welcome, Frank from Ghana. It's great to have you.
Wow.
So, in North America, I know people don't talk to people. I mean, you walk into the elevator, nobody says hi. Nobody even cares about you. Everyone is so much in a hurry. Everyone is so self centered, and that's not being civil. So this is why I had to take the time to be here with you every Mondays and Fridays and really just to teach you the concept that if you've never been civil before, if you've never said hello to somebody, or if you've never even smiled to anybody before, you can begin right after this session. It's not going to be that difficult. I know you're not used to it, so you might be a little bit uncomfortable. Begin with smiling. Maybe just even ask them that, how is your day going? How are you today? Try to buy someone a cup of coffee, a bottle of water. Find out how you're doing. Can you imagine how much pain that you would take out of this world if everyone could be responsible for their actions and pay attention to the next person and step out of their selfish self? Yes, Louisa is here. So, guys, it is time for you to turn on the civility button. If you've always been about me, the 2 year old syndrome, because the 2 year old is always going to say, me, mine, for me. I have a toddler around me. You have to step away from that. Think about the other person. Ask yourself this hard question. If I were the same person receiving the same treatment at that exact time, how would I feel? And guess what? The light bulb is just going to show up. Then you will realize that you have to make some quick changes to your habit. So, thank you guys for being here. It's so great to have everyone in the house. Sandra, thank you for being here. Another Wenger in the house, thank you so much for being here. Izzy from Canada, I'm so excited that you were here. And guys, if I haven't mentioned your name, that doesn't mean that I don't care, but it's because you're not directly on my page. So what are you gonna do? Try to add me on Facebook. Follow me on social media. I mean, on Instagram and my business page, so Unique Expert, so that I can see your name and scream it out like the VIP that you are. Guys, we have to be able to encourage and empower each other. So one thing you're gonna get from me when you hang out with me every Mondays and Fridays is like I'm gonna give you some kind of thumbs up. And you're gonna feel good, and that's what we should do for each other. So welcome everyone, and thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. Jessica, it's so good to have you here. Jessica is a relationship expert right in London, UK. I appreciate you. Thank you for making our time to be here. And Frank has a comment. He said, thank you, Louisa. I'm happy to be in today. The time always coincides with my 12 o'clock meeting. Oh my God, Frank, I'm going to do something about your boss. That's okay. So thank you. Thank you for making our time. And that's a show the expert all the way in Ghana. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Guys, look at that. We are global this morning. So this is why I'm so pumped up. Now, the topic of today, some of you might not have seen it, but if you have, is how to mitigate unconscious bias and leverage diversity in the workplace. Okay? Some of us might be struggling with the term unconscious bias, but I know that we're very fast to say, she's biased. This person is biased. I'm not being treated properly. And welcome, Bella, in the house. It's good to have you. Now, that's the discussion we're going to have here today. Bring it on. Did you ever think that you were treated unfairly at any time in your life? Were you a victim or you were the one treating somebody else unfairly? I want to discuss that with you. Some hard truths are going to be dropping this morning because I have Adako in the house who is an expert all the way from the UK. And Adako is not very kind when she's ready to drop it. So welcome.
Oh my
It's so great to have you, Christy. Thank you so much for being here. So you might be asking, who is Adako? And so I'm just gonna read her bio. Let me just tell you a bit about her. She's amazing. Adako is a diversity and inclusion consultant. She is a trainer, coach, author, and mentor. And she is also the founder of Phoenix Rise and I Smile International, a charity that's set up in Ireland and Nigeria to enhance the economic, political, cultural, and social participation of marginalized women. I love that, Adako. When I saw that, I thought, listen, there is hope. Somebody is looking out for women that are in pain. Okay, men, please don't run out. I'm going to talk about you soon.
God.
Received multiple awards and recognition for her work on social inclusion, community activation, women empowerment, both locally and internationally. She is on a mission to engage, educate, and empower individuals, companies, and organizations to recognize the value of diversity and inclusion. In 2018, she was listed as one of Dublin's heroes, or maybe we should say sheroes, and one of the most exceptional and inspiring people in Dublin by the Dublin City Council Cultural Company. So, guys, join me to welcome Adaku in the house. Adaku, please say hello to the audience.
Hi, it's nice to meet everyone.
Thank you. And, guys, you know who is in the house? Ambassador Jaja just jumped in. Can you believe that from Kenya? Thank you for making out time to be here. Thank you so much, guys. I'm so pumped up. I'm telling you, I don't know if it's the coffee, if it's the water, but I know I'm always just so pumped up. But whatever it is, we're going to have fun this morning. Welcome, guys. Invite people to be part of this conversation. Please give us some hearts. Don't be selfish with the hearts. It doesn't cost money because the heart means, Adaku, we love you. And the thumbs up simply means, Louisa, we love what you're doing. We're enjoying this session. That's all I need from you. I'm giving you so much pump up, and I need that back. Okay, look at Ella is dancing. Thank you, Ella. Yes, I love to have you in the house. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you again. Okay, guys, so let's go back to the topic of today. The topic of today, like I talked about, is how to mitigate unconscious bias and leverage diversity in the workplace. Okay, so we're just going to go back to that. And guys, those people who are in the watch party, hello, hello, hello. Some of you, I might not have mentioned your name, but I love you and I see that you're there. So we're going to have fun very soon. Now, Adako, let's begin with the questions. And this is how things get started. We start with the questions and we begin the conversation. And sometimes there might be a question from the audience, and I'll just throw it back to you. Now, because it's a civilized presence, of course, I want to know what does civility mean to you? What is civility? What is etiquette? What is manners? What is kindness? Whatever. What does it mean to you? And over to you, Adako.
Yes. Before I respond to this, I want to make a comment. I feel like I'm in a party right now. Like I'm having so much fun. Like, so well done, Louisa. You set the mood. So I'm just having fun.
Good, good. I love
So back to what you asked me. Yeah. So personally, when you are civil or civility means, you treat people the way people want to be treated. And how do people really want to be treated? People want to be respected. People want to be valued. People want to be appreciated. So it's just the little things that makes a difference. It's not about the big things, but it's about how are you this morning? Good morning. You could give up your seat for somebody else. It could be offering somebody a cup of tea. The simple things that make a big change is really what civility is to me. So that's really my little answer on that.
and I love that. Let me tell you, that is just perfect because sometimes, you might have to look at civility as the golden rule, treating others the way you want to be treated. Just like you said, of course, the 3 hours of being civil is respect, responsibility, and restraint. So you're spot on. And welcome, Lisa from Canada. It's good to have you in the house. Welcome, Jim Porter. Listen, my JMT family is here. John Maxwell. We are having the conference, and guys, I missed you guys so much. But thank you for making out time to even come and say hello to me. Thank you. This really means so much to me, guys. So let's go back to the topic of today. Now, guys, the elephant is still in the room. What is the elephant? Diversity and inclusion. People don't want to talk about it. As human beings, it's just natural for us to try to find why we're different from somebody else. It's like different skin color, different hair, different culture, different religion, different sex. Who cares about that? Listen, we are all part of the human race, so relax. Okay? So it doesn't matter if you're blue, white, pink, yellow, orange, you're human. So let's even begin from that. And let's know that every human being is valuable. When you understand that everyone is valuable, It's going to affect the way in which you treat the other person. And welcome, Sister Eileen. It's so good to have you here this morning. I'm pumped up to have you in the house. Thank you for joining me this morning. Thank you so much. So this is going to take me to my first question for you, Adaku, is that what is diversity? And why is diversity? A lot of companies, you know, put it in their mission on the billboard that
Yeah,
they're diversified.
I know, I know.
Okay. I used to live in Canada, and
Wow.
Canada is known to be highly diversified, but is that enough
Yeah,
to
that's a good
keep
question.
having a diverse workforce? Is that enough to just having people of different skin colors? And that's what I wanted to talk about today. So, Adako, over to you. What is
Yeah,
diversity,
yeah.
and why is
So
it so important?
yes, diversity, is any dimension that can be used to differentiate a group of people from another. So, for example, in terms of age, gender, ethnicity, race, perspective, class, background, values, beliefs, a religion is so vast. So, there are so many pillars to diversity. So, diversity is a fact. We are all diverse. Even if you look within your own close family, you are different from your sister, you're different from your brother. So it spans across, homes, societies, workplaces. So we are all diverse. But the challenge there is the inclusion bit. There's this saying that goes that diversity is the mix, but inclusion is making the mix to work. So how do you deal with people that are different from you? We don't speak the same language. We have different culture. I'm a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're a Hindu, you're a Sikh. How do we get along? That is where the challenge is. And that is where the threat of unconscious bias comes in, because we are used to, once something is not familiar, our natural tendency is to shy away from it. We kind of hold back. But when it's something that we are used to, it could be as simple as, looking through a name on a CV. I live in Ireland, so not in UK. I live in Ireland. So it could be, going through a CV, and imagine that I'm a white Irish lady whose the common name here is Mary. So when I see Mary on a CV, I kind of connect, I kind of get it quicker and faster compared to give me a name like Olako Busola, those long names or something.
Mm,
You feel it, you kind of hold yourself back. Oh, you're like, maybe they don't even have English language, or maybe they can't read. You assume things. So that's where I will talk more about unconscious bias, because it is unconscious, and sometimes we don't even realize that we are, biased, and that's what I will talk more on.
there you go. And I love that you just started it that way. Dr. Eric Tejada, it's so good to have you here in the house. Diversity is so important. And of course, it's become unavoidable. Whether it's in the workplace, it's in our communities, around us in the world of today. And so we really have to, create more awareness, educate people on how you can work with people who are different from you. Because every single day you're going to see someone that is different from you, even your kids. Even
Absolutely.
kids are different from you. So I used to
Absolutely.
point it out. So, you know, we have to learn how to embrace everyone around us and take the pain to listen. I'm going to give you an example. My daughter came back from school and said she met a friend called China. And I'm thinking, China, that's her name. So, yeah, I said, wow. Okay. He said, but she's a black girl. I said, where is she from? She said, I don't know what country, but she's called China. Guess what? Little did she know that this girl was actually African and Nigerian. She
Wow.
changed her name to China because she felt that her name was too long and no one can pronounce it. Nobody wants to take the pain. So she shortened it to China.
Wow.
Right there, she started messing up with her identity without even knowing.
Knowing it. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
China can sound cool, but for how long?
How long? It's not
So this
long.
is why we have to get used to and get comfortable with being who we are. Who are you as
Absolutely.
a person? Who are you?
Absolutely. Even
Embrace,
here,
embrace who you are. Embrace your uniqueness because your uniqueness is your selling point. Your uniqueness is what makes you great. Your uniqueness is what makes you powerful. Your uniqueness is
absolutely.
what makes me want to be with you. You cannot be like everyone else. Everyone
Absolutely.
else has been taken. Okay, so guys, don't get me started. So now, welcome. It's good to have you in the house. Welcome, Pronoy Sarka Rahul. If I didn't get it right, forgive me. Give me a couple of minutes, I'll get it right. But welcome. It's good to have you in the house. So, the conversation today is about unconscious bias and how to leverage diversity in the workplace, in your community, around you, in your family, amongst your friends. How can you leverage that? Okay, so this takes me to my next question, Adaku. What is unconscious bias? And you know, you can feel free to give us examples of
Absolutely.
unconscious bias in the work because I mean, this is what you do. You're an expert. So, what are kind of some of the things that you've experienced that has brought issues over to you?
Yes. Even before I talk about unconscious bias, I want to start with what is bias. So bias is really an assumption that we make about a certain category of people, and many times these assumptions are made based on what we see. We just see somebody and we make a decision about them. So that's bias. So there are two types of bias. There's conscious bias and unconscious bias. So conscious bias means that you know that you are biased. You know what you are doing, that you're actually segregating some people or favoring somebody over the other. So and around you see it. So for example, I remember years ago, that's I think up until last year that the Saudi government or the country allowed women to drive. And
Mm,
that's clear cut open, let me use my Nigerian open eye
mhm,
bias.
mhm, mhm,
Because that it's not, well, why would men be allowed or the women not be allowed? That's really conscious bias. You know what you're doing. But when
mm,
the bias is unconscious, many times you don't even realize it
mm,
because our mind is 95% of our mind is unconscious.
mm, mm,
I have
mm,
to say it again. 95% of our mind is unconscious. So unconscious bias means you don't even realize. In fact, you believe you are being fair. You believe you are listening, that you're a good person, and many times you mean well. But unfortunately, it's not, it's the effect on the other person is not a positive one. So I'll just tell you a little bit about where unconscious bias came from. Many years ago, when we used to live in caves and jungles, and yes, we used to live in caves and jungles. For those that are saying no, I didn't live in caves and jungles. Yeah, we did. So, and in those days, we had to make, when you see people gathering, around a water hole, you have to make a snap decision on who are these people. Are they friends or are they foes? Because
right.
if you make a mistake, if you are wrong in your decision, it could cost you your life. For example, if you see a big cat with whiskers that is huge, you don't go and touch, say, is this a lion or a bear? You have to, from far away, you are thinking, is this a lion or a tiger? Should I
That's
run?
true.
That's what it is. So our brain has, developed into a way of making shortcuts, snap decisions. So in one way, unconscious bias could be a good thing because it helps us make a decision very quickly. So in
Mm,
case we have to run, we run.
mm, mm,
On the other end, many times we get it wrong. We make a decision, particularly in the work environment. You see
mm,
someone with an accent, and you suddenly assume, oh, they're not smart, Or for example, you see a male leader has been more competent than a female. Why?
Mm,
Because he's a man, he has responsibilities. You just make assumptions, but you just don't know the whole story. So we just jump to what is familiar or convenient. So that's really kind of the background where unconscious bias is coming from. But the good news about unconscious bias is that our brain is neuroplastic. That means it can afford to, it can change itself over time.
mm,
I have to also point this out. Brain researchers say that the human mind receives 11 million pieces of information per second through our senses. So through
mm.
our eyes, nose, hands, 11 million per second of information.
Wow.
40 of those in 40 out of that 11 million is conscious. So
Mm,
literally many things that we do is unconscious.
mm,
We need to understand. Many times we are
mm,
all operating on autopilot. Sometimes
mm.
right past maybe a red light or even or a traffic light, and you're like, was that red or green? You don't even
Right,
realize what you just done because we are
right,
all, our mind is on autopilot.
right, right.
And again, unconscious bias is hardwired inside of us. It's
Mm,
every day. It's kind of part of life. So every one of us have to accept it and say, you know what, I am biased. That's the
mm,
first thing. You have to know we are all biased. So it's not about some people are biased. And no, 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 no. We all are biased. It's part of our human nature. It's part of how we see the world or how we survive the world.
mm.
Sometimes bias is good because it helps you to make a snap decision, mainly really for your own safety. But many times we get it wrong because we are making a decision really based on what we see. So that's really kind of what I want to highlight there about unconscious.
I love that. I think that's such a great way to break it down. And I love that you were able to point back to the unconscious mind,
Yeah.
because unconscious mind or subconscious mind, guys, we do not have control sometimes of what has gone into the subconscious mind, because from a very little child, you begin to absorb everything. You're like a sponge. You absorb every piece of information, sometimes from your parents, sometimes from your environment, the people around you, your experiences, and those information get in there and sit there. Now, when something shows up in your life, the first place that you go to is your reservoir, which is your subconscious mind, to pick up what you think should be a convenient way of reacting to what has happened to you. And sometimes it's not actually right. I'll give you an example. I was in a class, teaching culture, and I had the students there. I mean, it wasn't a little child, but an older lady who said that from when she was grown up, she was a blonde lady. And she said from when she was a child, her parents asked her not to talk to anyone who was of a different skin color.
Wow.
But why not? She grew up in Regina, in Canada. Of course, Regina is very cold. Now, thank goodness, now things have become a lot better. It's more diversified. But back in the day, it wasn't. So she grew up with that belief system. And so, when she got to the point where she started working or she had to go to the university, it had to take a conscious and intentional effort to keep telling herself and reminding herself that, you know what? I don't think I should write this person off. I think I should just pay attention and listen for a minute. Maybe my mom wasn't right, or maybe my mom's judgment was based on the fact that she never traveled out of Regina. And so, this is what the subconscious does to you, the unconscious mind. And so, don't sit there saying, Louisa, no, I know when to make the switches. No, you don't, because you are right off going to jump at what has been sitting in your subconscious mind Maybe make a mistake, fall over, break your neck, and then you're like, okay, I need to fix it. What happened? Why did I even fall? Then you realize that you jumped on something that was not particularly true. So, subconscious and unconscious is actually a thing. And I love that you shared this from that point, because biases are developed by so many reasons.
Absolutely.
You're not, give yourself permission to be biased, because you should be. It's based on your experience. It's based
Absolutely.
on where you've been. It's based on your knowledge, your conditions and circumstances. But it takes a process to change it.
Absolutely.
In order for you to change it, you have to be intentional. You have
Hmm.
to be intentional about it. Sometimes you are working in an office, in an environment with other people, and it's time for lunch. Somebody picks out their food to eat, and right off in your brain, you're thinking, oh no, I think the Indians have got too much curry. I don't want to sit beside that person. Have you even tested the food yet? And do you think that curry is poisonous? Do you think that they love what you eat? And they had to manage you, manage being with you and just accommodate you. So
Yeah.
we have to understand that the same way that you might feel uncomfortable with certain things, other people are allowed to feel uncomfortable about you. So this is where civility comes in, because you have to step out of your comfortable self and be happy and be comfortable being uncomfortable, to embrace the person next to you, because you're never always going to be right. And welcome, Christian. It's great to have you. Welcome, Davida. It's great to have you in the house. So, guys, I know the conversation for today might be biting a few people, but we have to talk about it because the elephant is still in the room. And it's interesting to see that research also shows that, if we do not deal with this unconscious bias, it can stifle growth and development. You can't live without it. You have to deal with it. Because, of course, if you behave or treat other people poorly, it can affect their well being. It can affect the way they think about themselves. It can affect their confidence. It can affect their belief system. It can affect their self esteem. And of course, this will affect in an organization the productivity and the profitability of that organization. So I want to
Yeah.
speak to the CEOs this morning. I want to speak to the leaders this morning. It's not about just writing on your board that your organization is diverse, but have you learned the art of managing and working with different kinds of people or diverse people in your organizations? And you're not going to like me this morning, so bring on your questions, bring on whatever your trouble is, bring on the experiences, because the expert is in the house. You don't want to bring it when the expert is gone. The expert is here, so bring it on. And we have a comment from Eileen. She said, a necessary conversion and discussion. Thank you so much, Eileen. It's always good to have you in the house. This takes me to my next question for you is, when we talk about unconscious bias and diversity or inclusion, what kind of impact does this have in our well-being, in an organization, in the business, in you succeeding? What does the impact? What's the impact of this? Over to you, Adaku.
Yeah, absolutely. Once, but if you or when you have, it's important. Mind you, not all companies are very diverse. Because when you're really diverse, you're thinking beyond, having an all male or all female team. That doesn't really work. It's about, making sure you get the right people with the right skills. But again, try to go outside the comfortable. Think about how can I employ somebody with a disability, for example. I know I like what you said there about being intentional, because it's really what it is. It's not comfortable. It could cost you more money. It could cost you time. But again, think about the moral imperative of, because diversity and inclusion is the right thing to do. Some people are the way they are, they can't change it. Some people are born with a disability that they can't help, but that doesn't mean that they are stupid or they cannot contribute to the workforce. Some people could not finish school on time. They started school at, or maybe due to strike or something that held them back. Maybe they couldn't pay for fees, or they went to school at a later age. So they're finishing up school at 35, and by the time they come out, they're too old. So when you talk about inclusion, it's about looking, really having an understanding at the workforce, the potential. Stop picking from the easy fishes, the young fresh graduates. That's good. I love that bit. But again, we are also unconsciously excluding those that had a hard time trying to get into school, people that are struggling, that have made their way, or for some reason could not finish school on time. So back to what you asked me there about where unconscious bias and diversity comes in. But when we look at a recruitment in the workplace, who do we recruit? How do we recruit? Where do we advertise? I've seen CVs. This is I've seen CVs that have I don't know, not CVs, sorry, job adverts. I'm asking for, we are looking for somebody with a six-pack and that can dance. Like, how does this have to do with the job? Six-pack. What do you want this guy to do? So I'll be worried at that. But these are real things I've heard about. I'm like, oh my God. So it's about who do we recruit and why. If we only recruit those that are similar to us, they went to the same school with us, or they went to a fancy school, or they have an accent, we think, oh, they are more intelligent. Or people you think, he's Indian, so they'll be good at IT. You bring them in. The poor Indian guy or lady may not even have interest in IT. So that's how this bias comes in. I must also mention that there are different types of bias, but that's how it also comes into the workforce. There's gender bias, where you favor one gender over the other. There's performance bias, where you assume that somebody cannot perform up to par because of their race or their religion. And there are other types of bias. First impression bias. You look at somebody and you judge them by by what you see. You could assume, oh, they look very hard working. You don't know that. So it comes in recruitment. It comes in performance assessment. How do you assess your staff? How do you assess it? Performance. Some cultures, for example, some people judge performance on handshake. Oh, if you don't have a firm handshake, that means you're not confident. But sometimes these are cultural issues. Some people come from cultures that you need to you don't hold on tight to your superior. You need to bow down or show a bit of respect. That could be cultural. So it's not enough to judge people based on because they didn't they don't have a strong eye contact. So those are things that are, to me, they're culturally determined. So they're not enough for you to make a judgment on why this person or that should be recruited or not. And another area that this also comes in is also in talent development. Who do you choose to go to the site to travel around the country or do a training? Do you judge, would you take a man over a woman because the woman has young kids and you assume, because she has young kids, she wouldn't be able to travel? How do you know that? Have you asked her to know if she can do the job? So these are just little ways unconscious bias comes in. The language that we use, how do we talk to, somebody from a different culture from us? What is the language? Do we respect them? If you're talking to a woman at work, do you call her babe? Is that the way to address a colleague? So things like that as well. And again, in terms of things around networking, we sometimes unconsciously network with those that are like us. You
Mm,
know, we want to learn about somebody else's culture. We don't even expose ourselves to where we can meet new people. We want to stay in our own safe zone. So, and this can cause more bias. And again, bias, we may look at bias as, has not a big deal, but it is a big deal because it can gradually, move from, bias to prejudice to hate to genocide. So it's just gradual. When people feel rejected, or they feel that like they're not valued or not heard, it's a matter of time. Something is going to give. They're going to say,
mm,
that's it. Since I don't have anything else to live for, why would you? Why would I let you have peace? So it's
mm.
so important that in anything that we do, we begin to nip bias in the bud, and it's all our responsibility. It's not about the CEO alone, the employees, because we all have circles of influence. We have some of us have kids that we are teaching things that are watching us. How do we teach other people? So we need to all be aware of this issue of bias and how they can creep in every day, in every part of our lives, and how it can affect us even in the future. So it's really so important.
Thank you so much. I just love all that you've shared. This is amazing. And so many people are jumping on the line. Just give me a moment just to say hello to them. And
Okay.
hello, Lizzie. It's good to have you here from Nigeria. Thank you for joining. Hello, Ricky from Virginia. Thank you. Hello, Essie. Thank you. Hello, Mavis Sibor. I appreciate you, Mar. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, Carolina Tan. Thank you so much for Singapore. Hello, Michael Larson. Thank you. Hello, Kate. It's good to have you here from Canada. Hello, Sister Dulcie. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Are you just getting here for the first time? Besson, it's good to have you here. You are in the right place. It's the Civilized Presence. We are here every Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. I know today was at 8:30. We're going to go back to 8 very soon. But the topic of today, we are talking about the big elephant in the room, unconscious bias, in how we can leverage diversity in the workplace, in your families, in your homes, in your organization, around you. Be that civility ambassador to pass on that message. You have gained from the best today. You don't want to sit on the message. You need to pass it on. And I just love how you were able to break it down and just talking about different forms of bias because I hear some very interesting things. I remember a couple of years ago when my kids were really small and I was trying to hire a nanny, and people, were, some form of advice and said, Louisa, you don't want to hire a woman who has children. You want a young girl. Really? Okay. Why is that? And some people are on the other side. You want to hire a woman who is old, and I don't want to deal with a young person. It all has to do with bias.
Experience. People's
Why
experience.
don't you give them a chance? That person might be 20 years, but might be the best person for the job. The other person might be 65 years. She might be so experienced and is the best person for the job. So why don't you give them a chance? Another thing that really shows up a lot is religious bias. A lot of people, and don't get me wrong, I'm a person of faith. I love my God so much. But sometimes we have some of our people put a sticker of who we are around our workplace. You put on the music, it's so high, you're disturbing everyone because you believe that I love my God, I love my religion. That is bias. Listen, keep it to your quiet place. Different people have got their different religion. No one is better than the other person. So respect the person next to you. There is another form of bias. I remember during the royal wedding, okay, when you have a lot of brown skinned people, I'm proud to be a brown skinned lady in the room. Sometimes we love a lot of selfies. So I was watching the video of the royal wedding, and you saw so many of us wanted to bring out our phones to do a selfie. You cannot do a selfie with the queen. It just doesn't happen. That's not the culture around there. Now that's a bias as well. So I want to show you how bias is in everyday lives. And recently in the news, we talked about how the female soccer players were complaining about how they were not paid what they were worth.
Mhm.
It's another form of bias. They have practiced for so long, they've worked so hard, and then because you think that because they are female, you shouldn't pay them a certain amount of money. No, that's
No.
another form of bias. So we're just sharing with you different forms of bias because some of us, you might be afraid of the term unconscious bias, but it's probably been happening in your home. It's probably been happening around you. You have this child who is so intelligent. You have another child who is struggling. And so you begin to judge the other child
Based
based
on
on
yeah.
what the older one is doing. You shouldn't do that. You should work with that child. You should support them. You should stay in their space. You should start up a conversation. You should understand, why are things not going right? What are you struggling with? I appreciate you the way you are. Because when you begin to become judgmental, you're rather tarnishing the image of that
Absolutely.
child than
The
doing anything
confidence.
else.
Yeah, the
So there are
confidence.
different forms of biases, and this is why we share so much for you to be able to walk away with. So when we deal with bias, you're simply saying to others that they're valuable. You're simply saying to the person next to you that I care about you. I think you're enough. I am enough. And I think you're enough. I think you're unique. We might not be the same, but I'm ready to learn about who you are.
Yeah.
You don't have to be me. Some parents try to make all their kids look like them. Listen, don't walk around creating a mini version of you all over the house. Those children are unique, and that's a form of bias. And welcome, Sister Audrey. It's great to have you here from Virginia. So if you've experienced any form of bias, if it's something that you want to discuss, if you have a question, bring it in the house. The expert is in the house. Don't bring it when she's gone. We're ready to talk about it. And this takes me to my last question for you, Adako, is so how can we mitigate this unconscious biases? How can we leverage this diversity in the workplace, in the community, in the churches, in the hospitals? How can we do that? Because we want people to be able to walk away from this session with tips that they can use right after the session. Over to you,
That's,
Adako.
yes, absolutely. Just to touch on something you said earlier, like the fact is that, one is that we are all biased, every one of us, whether we acknowledge it or not. So the first way to mitigate bias in any space that you find yourself is one is to acknowledge it. You have to say to yourself, I am biased. And but that's just one thing. The next thing is, okay, what are you going to do about it? How can you learn from it? Because having a bias is not, it's not really, it's not even, it's a fact. So it's not even as bad. It's only when you take action based on that bias that it becomes a bad thing. So it's about owning up, acknowledging that you have a bias. That's one. Then two, you have to expose yourself, or more like you have to create awareness or learn about bias, because if you don't name a problem, you can't really solve it. So you have named it, you have bias. So how do you address that? You have to, go for it. Now, if you're talking about the work environment now, a training, a bias awareness training, it will be a very good step. Why is the training good? Because it creates a space for conversation. You
Mm,
learn, because there are about 20 or even more different types of biases, which I can't discuss right here. So you learn about the different types of bias. There is beauty bias, when people are biased because they see somebody is tall, 6 feet, handsome. Oh, he's gonna make a good boss, or a girl, pretty. So we have that beauty bias. People are judged because they are beautiful. So some people are judged because that's nice. People have this first impression. So if they see you as good, then that means you are good in everything. And if they see you as not good, that means you are not good in everything. So there are different types of bias. be aware of that. We need to train yourself on the different types. And in an organization, it's also important, to set up diversity initiatives. Find out, do a survey of your staff or people that you work with. Their name, age, ethnicity, culture, what do they like? Understand those that you work with. They are the ones that will tell you, really, this is what will make me more included in this office, or this is going to make me feel more valued or appreciated. Some people are just looking for a flexi time. Some young mothers, for example, say, oh, could I just have 4.5 days while I work from home on one day? It could be as simple as that. That's inclusion. Inclusion means you are listening to your staff or you are listening to your employees to know what they want. It's not about providing all they need. No, you can't afford that to do that as a company. It's about where is their pain points. Some could, a new dad could say, could I have a parental leave as well? So we are used to giving the women parental leave, and maybe the men also, they need some time to stay with their new babies as well. So it's about things that we have not done before, a bit differently too. Another thing, for example, I'm just giving examples here. If you want to include the parent, for example, could you have a wheelchair access to your office? Simple things like that. That, of course, I know it could cost money, cost resources, depending on the organization. That could be a simple you can do as well. And again, it could even start as, have a diversity and inclusion policy. Have a policy that says we are committed to promoting diversity and inclusion in our company. But it's not just lip service, because I'm sick of lip service. A lot of companies just talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. But it's about what is the greatest need in your office, in your organization. What's one thing? Just one thing, or I'm going to have next 1 year with a physical disability. It could be as simple as that. That's something. That's progress. So that's one end as well. So for individuals, it's important also that you should expose yourself to people that are different from you. I know we are used to the sameness. We feel more comfortable and safe with those that look like us, those that talk like us, those that behave like us. But we need to start, the world is different. We are all different. We can't, variety is the spice of life. Diversity, we miss out on the potential, the richness of diversity when we stick to the sea of sameness. It's about time. The world is globalized. Technology has made the world even smaller. People are migrating from different parts of the world. So you're going to meet people that are different from you every day. So why continue to stay in that sea of sameness? You need to step out of your comfort zone and begin to explore and begin to open up your minds to new cultures. Again, empathy is important. When you empathize with people, you don't judge them. When you empathize with people, you don't bully them. When you empathize with people, you don't punish them for having an accent or for having a tribal mark or for being too tall or having a disability. Empathy. Empathy means putting yourself in other people's shoes, because it could be tough being them. I know what it was for me, when I came to Ireland, I'm from Nigeria. I have my certificates from Nigeria, but I couldn't get a job. I had a master's degree from the University of Lagos. And when I came to Ireland, they said, you are over qualified, we can't take you. So I had to take away my master's degree from my CV. So I had to step down or go a bit lower to be accepted. To me, that's exclusion, that's bias. I don't have to lose my identity because I want to get a job. So that's just one out of the millions of experiences I had as a migrant woman living in in Ireland. And the good news is that all these experiences, I have experienced racism, microaggression. Microaggression is people just giving you very subtle, verbal communications that connote insult. Things like, your English is really good. I said, of course. They assume that because I'm from Nigeria, I don't have English. I'm like, are you kidding me? So the things I had to overcome. And sometimes, yeah, I've been told so many things. They're like, oh, your hair. You change your hair very often. How do you afford that? But you're from Africa. I'm like, because they think Africa is poor and we can't afford to look good. So that's just part of my many stories. But the good news is that these experiences actually empowered me to do what I do today. Share my story and tell people, no, you could do better. I don't want to lose my identity. Don't call me Ada, because I said my name is Adako. So instead of calling me Ada, oh, it's too difficult. I can't pronounce it. Oh, it's too hard. It's not hard. I know how to pronounce your own. Yours is not even easy as well. But I learned. So you have to learn my name. So it's about us as well, knowing, don't try to become somebody else to please another. No, be yourself. Stand in your own truth. This is who I am. This is the way I want you to talk to me and respect me. So yeah, so it's just some ideas, I would say in a nutshell, be empathetic, expose yourself to people that are different from you, acknowledge that you are biased. Then when you are making a decision that affects somebody's promotion or performance appraisal, make sure that somebody else, that is a system in place that where you are not the only person making the final decision, that somebody else also looks over it to have a second check in case your unconscious bias has kicked in unconsciously. Those are some of the tips. I know you are short of time, so I don't want to overstretch.
No, I love that you've shared some really great content. And welcome, Bridget, my sister from John Maxwell. It's so good to have you in the house. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And I just love your passion of delivering this message. And you see, when I said she was the best, she is really the best, because this is what she does. And thank you for sharing your personal story, because I always say that every immigrant has got their coming to America, coming to Ireland, and coming to, and my coach friend Wenger says that too, coming to Ireland, coming to wherever that you find yourself story. And that is bias. We have to learn how to accept other people. How are you going to make a difference with your difference? Now, don't use your difference as a weapon on other people. There is a reason why you're unique. And so a lot of contributions from Sister Eileen, love that. She said, stepping out of my comfort zone is very rewarding. It's a daily choice. Thank you so much for contributing that. Thank you. Thank you. I love that. So how can you make a difference with your difference? So guys, I'm going to encourage you today. I don't want to say I'm challenging you today, because, you were talking about, the whole racism and all that. And, racism has been branded. It's now called haters. So people talk about haters. Oh, she's a hater and all of that. Listen, that's not important. We are all valuable. I don't care if you're white, blue, pink, or yellow. It doesn't matter. We are all one. We are all part of the unique race. I mean, the human race. So you have to be unique. Okay. So I'm going to encourage everyone today to step out to do something that you've never done before. And what's that going to be? Step out and give a helping hand to someone who is different from you. And you might be saying, everyone around me looks like me. Okay, get out to the grocery store. You're going to see people who are differently abled. And I want to warn you, because sometimes we don't want to come close to people who are differently abled. They are just differently abled. There's nothing wrong with their brain. They're just differently abled. So forget about using the term disabled, because I think disabled creates a disability in our thinking. So they're differently abled. Some parts of their body might not be the same, but it's not communicable. So please lend a helping hand. Find out how they're doing. Say hello to them. Ask them, how is your day going? If you don't have anything good to say, be quiet or just smile. Okay? Just do whatever that you can do to ease the experience of whoever that you meet. Try to do
Absolutely.
it today. Do it, and of course, send me a message. Tell me what you did. Tell me how easy it was for you. Tell me how difficult it was. And welcome, Harifa. It's good to have you here from Dublin Island. Dublin Island is in the house. And another comment from Sister Island. I'm taking this challenge to reach beyond even further. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So step out today, guys. Do something. Ask someone, how is your day going today? Do you want to have a cup of coffee? Something, something. I remember a couple of days ago, I went to the drive through and my food was delayed. She made a mistake with my order. I mean, some people would have started cursing. But at that point, I knew she had had a long and busy morning because it's a long queue. And I said to her, you are just fine. How are you today? And she said, oh my goodness, I should have another client like you. That you're not screaming. I said, no.
Yeah.
Why do
I
you
know.
scream? She probably came to work after 4 hours of sleep. She had to drive in traffic and she arrived there. She had a family. She had to leave her kids at home and come and serve you. And she made just a simple mistake because you wanted a cup of coffee with no creamer and she added creamer. Guys, life is not that serious.
Yeah. No.
Take a
No.
deep breath and treat others the way that you want to be treated. And guys, I'm going to say thank you so much for all of you who have been here with me to the end of the session. It was such a great conversation. I want to say a big thank you to you, Adaku. I hope to see you again on the show very soon. I enjoyed working with you. It was so much
Yeah.
great. Now that I listen to this video again, guys, because even me myself, I'm biased, so I need to fix it. So you're not alone. It's okay to be
We are.
biased. It's okay to be biased. And just before I leave, something that I want us to be comfortable with doing is self-assessment. Go back to your room, go back to that private space, and ask yourself those hard questions. Am I biased? What is the thing that I have been doing that is not right, but I'm still doing? Have I been treating other people fairly? I don't want to know the answers. Tell yourself the answer. Make the adjustments to be able to make great changes. Kindness costs nothing, but it's going to buy everything. And so, guys, I'm looking forward to see you again on Monday at the same time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time or 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. But look out on our flyer, on our post to see the exact time that we're going to be there for. And I'm just going to remind you, some of you have not grabbed your copy of The Civilized Leader. I want you to know that the reason why we haven't started up the book study is because it's going to be in a private group. And so Eileen says questions to make changes. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was so good to have you here. So please grab your copy of The Civilized Leader. This is a good way to get started. We're going to have the workbook available to you very soon. If you're still struggling with where to go, put in my name on Amazon. It's Louisa Akaiso. And please do me a favor, subscribe to my channel on YouTube because that's where you're going to find all the old videos. I know you enjoyed today, but we have so much great content. Go back to my channel on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It would be great to have you. Come and hang out with me on Instagram. I always have some great posts every day just to encourage you and just see how your day is going. Send me an email. Tell me how you're feeling. What do you want to learn in the session? Is there something that you're expecting me to talk about and I haven't? I want to learn from you. This session is for you. So I want to bring the best just for you. Send me an email, Louisa at the civilityacademy.com. And Andy Weaver is in the house. Andy, I don't want to say that you're late to the party, but you will have access to this video right on my page because it's time to go. I hate to let you guys go, but I have to be civil so that Adaku like another Adaku, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have you. Thank you and welcome Mfone Query. Oh my goodness, when your family starts popping in, guys, is it a time to say it together? It's good to have you here, my brother. Thank you so much for making our time to be here. And have an amazing rest of your day and weekend. See you on Monday, same time. Bye for now.
Bye.